Hey guys, it's Targan, coming at you with another game of Geometry Dash. Happy Sundash, everybody. So, we're almost at 10,000 attempts on Clubstep. I wouldn't consider it probable that we'll do it in the next 11, but we'll try. And then after that, we'll go to practice mode, go to the end and practice a little more, because I'm not very good. And you might think that after that long it would be enough, but I would just die at the beginning. I can get slightly further than that normally. Not like a lot further. I don't want you to get a false impression of how this is gonna go. It will be failure compounded upon failure, but you know, it's good to be ready for that. Yes, 134%, exactly. Well, you know, not jumping there is a way to do it. Not ideal. And of course, the real misery of Geometry Dash is whenever you finally beat a level, then you just have to find another one to learn. I mean, you don't have to. You can do anything you want. Like, no one can make you play a level, for example, 10,000 times. It's not 10,000 yet. In 6 more attempts, it'll be 10,000. But a lot of those were mainly just complaining, and I'm not sure they count. Also, good afternoon, Thomas. You say it doesn't really click for you. Yeah, I'm not convinced that it clicks for me either. No, it can be fun when you do well. And certainly, like, I like seeing custom levels more than I like the really difficult ones. Like, it's really interesting. I'm always very interested in user-made stuff for any game. And this game is, like, almost entirely into it. No, you're not really distracting me. I would have done that anyway. I read, like, really fast. So if I'm, like, dying, I already decided we were gonna die. You know, you only focus when you're, like, halfway done. But I'm, like, I'm not good at it. You know I'm not supposed to do that, too. I was aware. Alright. Well, now it's time to go to practice mode because, well... because we're just dying all over the place. Alright. You'll set auto checkpoints because I am too bad to set my own. That's a terrible checkpoint. I think that just kills you. Hello, Unlucky Dash. We should label this practice, because it's practice now. But I figured, you know, for this little Sunday, why not fail at this forever? So you're better time parkour, the Path of Pain. I don't guess I know what that is unless that's a colloquial name for the White Palace thing. So I feel like My friend at work might have mentioned it in the context of Hollow Knight, but I think it was like separate from what I've done. He made it sound a lot harder than anything I would have been doing. Oh, there is one of those too. Okay, it's a whole different place. Got it. Terrible. This UFO part I usually do well at, but you know, usually it's not always. We're gonna back it up a little bit. If you start in the middle of a UFO section, it is not useful to practice. That's just my opinion, but I believe it. Because for UFO, you need to be like, you need the whole section because you need to practice the way that you're hanging. If you're like starting midway through, you're only going to learn like what you do after you've already done it, so you won't even be able to identify where you're supposed to start with your memory. Now, I'm not proving that by crashing over and over, but I normally do kind of good here. Not really good, just a little bit. You know, you just like so. And then here we die. No, not yet. It's soon that we die. Hey, Coolio. Yes, indeed. Merry Geometry Sundash to you as well. We're here, you know, failing like always on Clubstep. We just broke 10,000 failures or learning experiences or complaining sessions depending on how they went. This is just failing again. Bouncing off of the wall somehow feels good. And then we don't want to go up there, that's harder. I die here just so much on real runs. I mean, I don't get here all the time, but every time I do, I die. All right, you gotta go over that one. Hey Chase, how's it going? Happy Sundash. We're here failing at Clubstep, as you see. Over and over again. Path of Exile is free this weekend. Yeah, thought it was always free to play. Or do you mean the second one is having a weekend? The second one? Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe we'll play that here in a few hours. That sounds fun. I crashed again. Ha. Oh, I use an Xbox controller. Work has been good, Chase. You know, it's the weather finally got cooler, and because I'm an old man, that's the only thing that matters to me. No, it's look, when it's 20 degrees or 30 degrees cooler outside, it's basically that much cooler in the kitchen. So it goes from just sweating my head off all day long and just feeling not great to like physically just like, you know, kind of being a little hot because you're over a fire. It's a very different experience. So like when I work on the grill, the tongs through the whole summer, they feel like very warm to the touch even through my gloves. But But now it's actually cool enough to where the metal on them feels cool because, like, the air isn't oppressively hot. So I would say it's been just fine. That's just my perspective. All I care about is whether or not it's hot. Which, although I am from here, every year I seem to forget how unpleasant it is. And then whenever the weather gets decent for like the 1 week a year that it's good here, then I'm like, wow, maybe the world is alright. And then, you know, and then it's too cold for my old bones. So, you know, I'm enjoying it. Hey, 150. How you doing, man? Yes, they're here to watch me fail repeatedly. For that is all that you get here. I figured that's what you meant. And then you just crash right into the wall there. Say it's been a while since you did a stream? Yes, well, I hope you have been well. I hope you have a lot of people dressed just like you with white t-shirts. That's not how to do it. We'll probably die there when the time comes to. As far as part, you think that part around 84, man, when it all gets gold, so the deep lore of me playing Clubstep is that I actually quit this level before I even beat it in practice. I couldn't even get through the very end at 84, where you go through the thing, you get the little like invisible block, you jump off, and it's gold for a bit. You know the part, 84. Everybody knows that part, and I must have tried. It was more than a couple. It was like 2,200 something like that attempts, and I still didn't even beat it on practice. But here I am, 10,000 attempts later, still not beating it. Nope. Yeah, the spikes are definitely not random. They shimmer periodically as you approach, and then sometimes right when you're over them. But there's always a point, at least on this level, where there's a very brief visual cue that tells you where they're going to be. Usually, I think always. But that doesn't mean you always come in at the angle that you need in order to dodge them. Have I beaten a demon? Yes, I was about to answer that more fully. I have beaten 5, right? Yeah, 5 demons. My hardest is Death Moon. I beat everybody's demons. I beat, the Nightmare and Lightning Road, and then Platinum Adventure and Shiver, and then Death Moon after like 7,500 attempts or so. And then, I've been trying this for a while. Ah, yes, Thomas. So, yeah, on all of these platforms where it looks like there's little teeth, so like we could actually, this would be good. This might help me, and it'll show it for a bit. So we got this mod that gives us some choices, and one of them is gonna let us show like the hitboxes whenever we die. Yeah, here we go. So whenever we die, we'll be able to see on the screen, maybe briefly. But, yeah, alright, so here with it paused. So how this is white when it's paused here and here and here, those are real teeth on the screen, and all of these ones that are not lit up, those are just background. And each of the sections has that. Like right here, we pause. So this thing is where the hitbox is, this little red square, if you can see what I'm circling. And then this spike is showing on the screen like where it's at. The hard white outline. But as you... yeah, I got geo'd, I think last week. But, yeah. But, yeah. So, like, you can, and this is a way where, because there's a way to, like, turn hitboxes on, but then it's on the whole time, and that's not so useful. But, like, often I'll be like, what killed me? And this is a way to do that. I've never played with it on, but it is a thing that to do it. Yeah, I got it for the ability to listen to music in practice mode if the music was listenable. And then there's a bunch of very cool abilities in it, like invincibility. There's a little button you can turn on to show the world you're being invincible. Obviously, right here we are very invincible. But all of these things I already knew were there. But yeah, it's very useful if you're not sure. Hey, what got me? Where was the flaw? You know, be like, oh, it was right there. I barely ran into it. Or sometimes you're like, oh, I ran all the way into the wall. Because often in the heat of the moment in Geometry Dash, it's not exactly clear what happened to you. Thomas, what a wonderful joke. Wow. Anyway, see right there's a spike that you can't see as you're there, but you can see briefly before. And immediately whenever you die to it, then you can also see it. And there you go, yeah. So right here, which I knew, there's a spike here and here, so you have to go underneath and then above. And then you have these little Celeste mountains as we go. Yes, I know about the very controversial practice of that. You know, I use an Xbox controller. I don't think that doing something in between a frame is really the level that we're at here. We're dying 10,000 times on Clubstep. We don't need to worry about it. Like, I'm only clicking a few times a minute as we die here. It's not the frame I'm clicking on. It's a whole, like, what was, like, not to put too fine a point on it, but I can't even do this part. There's a reason why we've been to 67% a few times and never further on a real run. It's because I can't even do this part. Yeah, see, but I'm not trying to straight fly. What you see is just me holding down the button sometimes and then not holding down the button other times. You're trying to fix my figure skating when I can't even do ice skating at all. And you're like, no, you got a pirouette. But, like, I literally can't ice skate, bro. You can't help me out of this. That's a metaphor. I don't know if it stands up because I don't ice skate or anything. You know, I'm from the American South, where ice is strongly theoretical. I've been ice skating before at, like, an indoor rink. Like, twice. I got injured the second time. Anyway, I don't know how to ice skate. You said animation control. My bad. You know, as I play the game and die repeatedly, sometimes I'll miss, like, an article. end in a sentence, so you'll have to give me a little bit of generosity there. Given that I am trying and failing to play Geometry Dash while trying and failing to read English, maybe I should do neither or one. I think we should just stop playing and read. I can read. I don't want to brag, but I do know how. And ship control. We're both on the same page here. Thomas Beck, you say this reminds you of your Celeste suffering? No, Celeste is meaningful. That's the thing about Geometry Dash. It's interesting because Geometry Dash is inherently nihilistic. Like, Geometry Dash is about rejecting the search for meaning at all, whereas Celeste is about absorbing challenges in the genuine suit of, like, perfection narratively as well. Like, we're trying to solve Madeline's problems in Celeste. In Geometry Dash, you're here to suffer for nothing. Hi, Violet. Because as the proverb goes, beyond mountains there are mountains, and that's true of Celeste, certainly, but it's never more true than of Geometry Dash, for whenever you beat a level, there is another level for you to attempt. Harder than the one before, every bit as perplexing and rage-inducing, every bit, like, as able to make you question your worth as a gamer, if that's even a thing. And that's what I mean about the inherently nihilistic nature of Geometry Dash, because after trying this 10,000 times, and again, only some of them are spent complaining, you begin to wonder, what is it all for? But it's not like an existentialist wondering, it's a nihilist wondering, like, has my death and Sir Green Blockington's attendant death here so many times really been for nothing? Of course it has. It couldn't be for anything. What, we've died 100,000 times to beat 20 levels ever? It's madness. But, you know, there's a sort of comfort in that madness because it doesn't matter. I could fail at Clubstep forever and never get any better at it. I'm not trying to brag. That is how bad I am at the game, though. Hello, person who loves cheese a bit too much. Hello, Yogi. Yeah, more like a roguelike, where not a roguelite, but a roguelike, where, like, the only thing you get is the experience of knowing where you've been before, and nothing else. Absolutely zero benefits whatsoever for all of your attempts beyond what you have personally gained in skill. Like an arcade game in a lot of ways. Only, blessedly, it doesn't cost a quarter every time you die here, over and over. But I think, like, certainly what seems to keep the rabid fans of Geometry Dash coming back is how the difficulty is essentially uncapped. So as a viewer, if you care about elite performance, there's always someone who's trying to achieve something that's never been done, that's too difficult for any person so far. And you always know that after somebody gets it, that there's going to be another hardest level that somebody makes. Like, that's the churn, that's the promise of Geometry Dash as a viewer, if you care about the top levels. And then, other than that too, you have the promise that there will also be lower level stuff. In whatever skill range you are, there will always be more things that you can just reach out and play, which is very appealing. But sometimes, after failing 10,000 times at a level, you wonder, what is it all for? And that's where I go wrong every time, right? Because it's not for anything. Why should anything be for anything? You know? There's no reason. There's not a hard mode. Practice mode just lets you set checkpoints. Regular mode, so to beat a level in Geometry Dash, you start at the beginning, and then if you die at all, you start at the beginning again. You know, and then, yeah. There would also be... What is life for, indeed? Stirring music to ponder these questions, too. Questions like, how many times can I fail to do this? I mean, just so many. Just so many. To the point where I always assume we're going to crash, and I'm almost, like, surprised if we ever get through. There's one time I was streaming Clubstep, and like, because we failed this, what, like 300 times now? And, someone was like, just go practice something else. I'm like, but if I can't do this, then we won't be able to do it. They're like, just go practice something else. But it doesn't, you know, there's stuff in Geometry Dash I'm good at. Not, like, really good, only relatively good. And then there's stuff I'm not good at, and one of those things is this specific kind of ship play where you're supposed to take, like, an angle and then go upside down. I'm very, very bad at it. Maybe worse at this than any other thing in the whole game. I'm not very good at being boxy upside down either, but... It's just like, and there are people out there that can just casually beat this level, that could just pick up an input device that they paid like $30 for or whatever, you know, one of those special little SEO device things, and then just beat this. They could probably beat it on double speed. They can probably beat it with all the stuff on the map turned off, and then you have me crashing into the walls here forever. It's okay. After all, this is what the game is. Failure. You say we all start somewhere. I mean, yeah, but I started like 170 hours ago. You know, there was a while when I was getting better at the game, and now I certainly... I don't think I've gotten better at Geometry Dash in like 50 hours. I've stayed the same. I'm as good as I'm ever gonna be. Oh well. Fortunately, my identity is tied up in being like a fan of real-time strategies more. And I'm even worse at them. I'm just kidding. I don't even play my favorite game. One of my favorite current games. Multiplayer, even though I'm obsessed with watching the multiplayer. Because I'm so bad. I've never played a single match. Maybe someday I will. Got like 1,400 hours in series. Never played against another person. Hey, Sir Meta Knight. Later, LFGs. The Clubstep grind, we are just failing here over and over. I'm not very good. So it took you a long time to do it. Yeah, you know, it's been quite a while for me too. You know, 10,000 doesn't sound like much. And again, a lot of those deaths were just complaining and really shouldn't count. It's just the game doesn't have a good way to track whether or not I was complaining while I died. And which of them are just, like, general incompetence, like both of those, which, and that one too, which although, like, did take place while complaining, and so did that one, were all because I'm bad, and not because I was distracted by complaining. There's a difference. A real complaining death is when I, like, put down the controller in disgust and complain while we run into the wall over and over, or gesture with my right hand, even though that's the one that I hit the A button with. It just seems meaningless to try another difficult level at this point. You know, you don't just... yeah, you know, I'll, like, take a look at it. There's plenty of games that I used to be good at, not to get all old man about it, but now I'm not good at anything anymore. I could add class, it could have been a contender, instead of a bum, which is what I am. Ah. No, it's like with Death Moon, my previous hardest. There were huge sections that I was bad at, but all I needed to do was string them together. This is like, there's only two segments I just like can't do right, and one of them's this one, and one of them's the very end. And the rest of it we can like kinda sorta do. And so if we can ever learn how to do this, then all we gotta do is bash it a few times, then we'll convert the last segment too. But as we're clearly showing, it's not like we're getting any better at this. MRA, that's the name of it. Yeah, let's why not do that? Chris, I think this is the person that made, the name looks really familiar. They made some level that I had seen before. I would have it in my heart section, wherever that is. I don't know. I don't know where the saved files are. But anyway, it was really cool looking. Let's see about this. Nope. But yeah. No, I don't want to delete this all. It's like I just want to. Nope. It just was a very reminiscent name. Arclea Astrolith was the name of that one. Well, you know, they just looked alike. Anyway, let's go ahead and try this. I guess you can sort of see what's happening a little bit. Yeah, no, very cool looking level so far. Just because I can't tell what's happening doesn't mean like a person couldn't. What? Okay, so underneath there, and then we go here, and no. The checkpoints, Thomas, if you have them on automatic, they'll just put them anywhere. It's like time based. The game, because a lot of these are custom levels, like they aren't. I don't think anyway. I don't think that the creator even says where to put automatic checkpoints. I think the game just sort of does it. Most people don't use auto checkpoints because you can place them yourself. I just forget, or I'll do it and then die while trying to place one. Okay. Okay. but my big problem in all of Geometry Dash is that and all of gaming, is that if I can't see what I'm supposed to do, I'm probably not going to do it right. And by probably, I mean it's going to take so long for me to ever do anything right if I can't see in front of me what I'm supposed to do in some way. I don't really have an imagination. Oh man, the shifting perspective over and over and over. Ugh. Hurts my eyes. You know, I could just do better. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's a very cool level. It actually physically hurts my head, though. Yeah, like, the way that it does, like, this sort of fisheye thing, I don't even know if that's the right word. It's probably not, I don't know anything about cameras. But yeah, and then... hand to the left and like, yeah, anyway, that, man, no. Very cool level. I think if I just went through it and didn't die, it would have been fine, but I think the repeated, like, thing, it definitely, I don't normally get like that from looking at stuff. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna be fine in no time. I might have just become old right in front of everybody. The other day I thought my bones were creaking, you know, and I consistently talk about the weather now. I guess I'm old. Alright, we'll try that one from Coolio. Oh, later 150. Hey, Orange Froggy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that confetti. Let me out of here. Hey, that's very interesting, but incomprehensible to me. It's very interesting, but you know, it wouldn't let me out of the menu. If you imprison me in a menu, I'll just leave. Very cool. Yeah, the confetti also is much too present. Oh no, we've fallen down. I think we're gonna eat all the apples. They don't belong to us, but we're gonna eat them anyway. Oh no! Now this is happening. How am I gonna achieve my dream of eating all the apples if I can't see? It's kind of too apple-y sounding though. Like, I don't... How many times do I have to hear that? It makes me not want to eat the apples. We just won't get the apples. Yeah, I don't love that. Yeah, I don't want to listen to the sound effects, sorry. We'll play the game though. If you make a game and your sound effects are that precise, I won't listen to them. Yes, the apple was much too apple-y. Again. Halfway apple such a leprechaun. Okay, we'll try. But just because it's you, and I know who you are. I won't like hold it against you if the next one is like pears that sound too much like pears or something, but... Alright, are we done with apples now? No, they're still here. Go left and no more apples. Got it. Alright, I got a little jetpack. There's so many more apples here! The whole room is full of apples, my friend. Ah. Oh well. Should have run a checkpoint in there somewhere. It's like, oh, come hang out in my orchard. What kind of orchard is it? Cherries? No, even the sound of this many cherries would be unsuitable, I assume. I don't keep like a list. Oh, I thought it sort of looked like that area would protect me. I don't think it did. Blah. Terrible. Terrible behavior. Why am I? Oh no! Okay. You know, why am I even caring about these apples at all? Oh, because with that few of apples, I don't get any approval from them. It gives me some stuff. So to do it for real, you would what? It wouldn't be too tricky, right? It's not that many jumps to make. So unlike most Geometry Dash, when you're playing here... Ah! Ran into it. Anyway. Oh. It was in practice mode all along? Anyway. That's alright. There's checkpoints within the level that show up without practice mode. Oh, I see. Hey, we beat a level. I mean, not the one we can't beat, but a level. Someone asked a little bit ago if I had stepped into the level editor yet. No. I don't know if I ever will. If I did, I don't think I would do it on stream necessarily. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the sort of thing I would want to, like... Because I've only, like, modded one game before. I did, like, a sub-mod for Warband once upon a time. I streamed it and stuff. It was a great time, but, like... You know, I did all of the work with the mod, you know, on my own time, and then once it was ready to go live, then I recorded myself playing it. You know, I don't know if sitting there like looking at the notepad for several hours would have been something that I wanted to do. Whoops. Well, I actually thought I died moderately before then, but I could have saved it. I just would have hit this orb differently, but I already thought I was toast, and then I just didn't react in time to salvage it. Feels bad. Oh well. I mean, we would have just died at 65 or 66 or 67. Maybe. If we could get there. But yeah, not mine. It would feel like modding to me. I guess like in my old man construction of it, like if somebody makes a map for a game, they're a modder even if the map has a map pack, you know, like if it's got a thing to make it in it, like the guys that make maps for Total War, like, they are absolutely members of the modding community, you know, like, the maps are mods. They modify the game. And to that end, I would consider basically all custom levels a mod. And, like, not in an arbitrary sort of way, but, like, in a literal sort of, that's, like, actually what I think a mod is type of way. But I guess there's different ideas about that, because, of course, there are then mods to the game that influence the custom levels. A mod for a mod. Although, that's what mine was. I myself modded a sub-mod of the game that was like a total overhaul. And then I played that overhaul and thought, this is great, but what if I could personally do stuff to make it better, in my opinion? And then I did. It was awesome. I thought. Because once I was on a forum talking to the creator of the mod, this guy called Kozer, who was wonderful. A lot of people didn't like him, but I sure thought he was fun. But I don't want to say anything that might sound negative. He was great, but he could be a little prickly sometimes. And once I had some opinion about, like, lances breaking on a charge, something like that. And he politely pointed out that if I didn't like it, I could go into the game's files and change it myself. And I was like, yeah, dude, you know what? Why don't I do that? And I did. And then once I did that, I did a bunch of other stuff too that I thought would make the game better. And it was great, you know? He was right. I didn't need to tell him how I thought his work could have been done better. I could just, you know, use that as a piggybacking route. He wasn't, like, mad at me for modding his mod or anything. He just said, hey, you know, if you release it, you know, make sure you say it's your version of it so people don't think it's all me. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, wizard, dude. He's a nice dude. I mean, to me, I liked him. Like I said, I liked him. I liked him without reservation. I thought it was super funny that he just, like, told me to go away, and then I just took it as a, why don't I fix it myself? Because I severely, I've always had my doubts that he meant me to actually fix it myself. I think he meant, like, hey, if you think you can build a better car, just go build a car. And then I was like, why don't I build a car? Except I didn't, you know, I just like stapled some paint on his. The levels clutter, exactly, because there's so much visually going on. Even if you've learned it, you know, there's all these flashing lights and all of these whirling shapes, and many of them are not part of where you'll ever go. But the visual information is still there, having to be processed, which is probably my greatest difficulty with Geometry Dash. Because it's difficult for me to just see a bunch of information and say, yeah, just don't pay attention to it. Just pretend it doesn't matter. No matter how many times I know that stuff to the top left will never matter, I still, like, I see the lights, you know. The magnetic glimmer calls me. But as the game gets more advanced, they'll have like screen obscuring effects and shaking things, you know, flashing lights are common. You know, shadows that move and pulse so that you're like flying essentially blind some of the time, which the spikes that pulse on and off visually are sort of the precursors to that stylistically that we see in this level. But because a truly difficult, like a proper top 10 difficult Geometry Dash level is incomprehensible to anyone who hasn't played this game. They wouldn't even know what they're looking at. They would need the sounds of the input or like to see the person's hands to even believe that what's going on is what they're seeing. And they would probably need a commentator to be like, oh, by the way, all of these have to be done on the exact right frame or it won't work. Because I watch a bunch of different speedrunning stuff for games that I don't play or that I don't play competitively. You know, like, I've played a lot of Super Mario Brothers, but I've never speedrun it or whatever. But there's tricks they do that require someone to tell you what's going on so that you can even understand how hard it is. Because otherwise you'd be like, oh, we did a thing. But really it's like 3 frame perfect tricks in a row. Or like you watch a Celeste speedrun and I'm like, how did they do it? And then I watch a breakdown of like the first level speedrun and they're like, oh, actually, these are the 14 times everything could have fallen apart, that it had to be done at exactly this instant. But, you know, top level platforming and rhythm game people are on a whole different level. I mean, the top level of every single video game pursuit is, I say this in a nice way, full of absolute champions, just real mutants who left the world behind in pursuit of true greatness, right? That's what's fascinating about speedrunning, is that they take what a normal person... Sorry, that's not right. I shouldn't say it like that. What a non-speedrunner's perspective is of a game and just blow it out of the water and say, like, you know, you think you know what playing fast is, but you just don't really know what's going on, and now you'll see. I don't mean to put any sort of like value judgment on like what a normal way to play a game is. Any way that you're playing the game is a normal way to play it. But in a sort of like highly specialized, results-oriented way like that, they often go far beyond what other people even deem possible. Like, I remember I saw this Ocarina of Time speed run, and it basically melted my mind. Because it's like all these glitches that did like some weird arbitrary code execution and ended up like way deep in the game, and I'm just sitting here thinking, am I even watching this? Is this even the same game? Well, of course it is, you know, it's all different styles. But much like that, the people that are very good at Geometry Dash just, you know, they take the same human body that we all have access to, you know, with the blood and the bones and the muscles and all that, and they turn Geometry Dash levels into successes instead of 10,000 failures in a row. I'm just playing. Sometimes they lose like 200,000 times before they beat a level. And the UV radiation. So you got 4 arrows in the game. I have 1900 into Mountain Blade Warband, that was what I played at the beginning of my channel, like 11 years ago. Warband was all I played. I played a few mods, but almost all this mod called of Clash of Kings, which was like a Game of Thrones overhaul mod to the game. I've like never played the vanilla game, like basically never, not for an hour total. I don't even know what like the factions are called. I don't know what their armor looks like. I don't know anything about actual Mountain Blade Warband. I only know the mods. But there was a time when I could give you an absolutely encyclopedic breakdown of all of the people that were on the map there in the lands of Westeros, but we are not bringing up the wound of loving Game of Thrones once today. That was long ago, before we were on this road. It's not important. Sorry I brought it up, guys. But, I mean, I played World of Warcraft a shocking amount. I don't know the exact amount of time. Blizzard, to their credit, does not allow you, like, on, like, your profile on their website or whatever. They won't tell you how long you've played total. There's no way for you to see. You can see how long you've played on, like, an individual character, but in some cases, you know, maybe you delete your characters when you quit the game in a fit of rage, you know, that kind of thing. But, I mean, more than 5,000 hours easily, probably more like 10. I don't want to lie about it. The first year I played World of Warcraft, though, I did play more than 3,000 hours. I played like, you know, more than 8 hours a day every single day of the whole year. And that was not the only year that I played World of Warcraft, but I never tallied it all up. It's a big number. I don't play anymore though. I gave all that up. I got everything I'm ever gonna get from it, and I'm gonna stand by that. But speaking of being good at games, I used to be I used to be pretty good at that too. Nothing special. Not the best in the world. Just pretty good though. Pretty good. You're eating Oreos and drinking Pepsi? Orange Froggy, Is that good, bro? Sorry, I don't mean to be critical. That was rude. Just forget it. I'm sorry. That was rude. At the same time, sorry. I'm good for you, dude. That sounds great. Everybody, I respect all snack choices. I am drinking an energy drink to make me energetic. Really, I just like the taste. And, you know, and the energy. No, I can never really mix, like, any kind of sweets with soft drinks. I gotta do one and then the other. That's not true. You can, like, pour a bunch of root beer on top of ice cream, and that's okay. But it's not my preferred way to have ice cream or root beer. Root beer I like to drink out of a glass bottle, and ice cream, what I like to do is stand in front of a freezer like an animal, with the freezer closed, but with, like, a big spoon and an open, like, carton of ice cream, and I just like to eat it right out of the carton because all the ice cream is mine. You know, my brother's got his ice cream, and I got my thing of ice cream. So that's how I like to have mine, you know. I don't do, like, a root beer float. I'll, like, do that, and then I'll, like, drink a root beer or something. Hey, Showtime. Pineapple Fanta. I love Mountain Dew. I don't know what it's supposed to taste like, but I sure do like it. But I like root beer a lot as well. Unfortunately, like at my restaurant, so as you know, if you work at a food place, but if you've never worked at a food place, you may not know. You get like your soft drinks for free when you work at a restaurant. That's just like bog standard across the whole industry, at least in my country. Probably everywhere, but at least here. And because the syrup is so affordable whenever it's in the machine. Anyway, for boring reasons. But where I work, we don't have root beer on tap. We only have it like in individual glass bottles for the customers to buy. So you can only get, you can get like Coke and Sprite and, Hawaiian Punch or whatever out of the machine. But I don't particularly love those. Like, I like root beer and then Mountain Dew, which we don't have Mountain Dew. So it's good because it stops me from drinking too many soft drinks at work. But I sure would like it. See, you say the Mountain Dew is lemon lime, and I'm not trying to say no it isn't, but is not Sprite said to be lemon lime? There's got to be something else in it. Alright. Oh, ha ha ha. That's rough. So I thought I had a slightly better timing on the UFO, but it hit the shelf at the end of the pillar and like sort of skidded me straight horizontal for a bit because my downward motion was taken up. Well, an alternative would have been hitting the spike, but that's funny. I was so sure because when you think you're gonna fall and you don't fall, it's sort of hard to notice it in time, and I sure didn't. Monster Energy is like on 50 rupees, so like $1.7. Yeah, it's basically around what it is here. You can get a monster for like $2 or something. But this is a C4 energy drink named for an explosive. I don't know. They must have thought it makes your blood feel like it will burst, and they're like, "That's good. People will like that." It's sort of like how Gatorade makes you feel like an alligator. They're going for explosivo treatment here. Real orange juice and other citrus flavors. It's probably real orange juice formula. I don't want to slander them. I don't know. Don't come at me, whoever owns Mountain Dew. I know who it is. I don't want to say. They're incredibly rich. I'm just kidding. Pepsi owns Mountain Dew. They don't. Pepsi's got a parent company, and that parent company has a parent company, and they are very rich. Pepsi functionally is like a fiction, right? They're not like their own animal. They exist as the larger beast, and the function of that beast principally is to sell me Mountain Dew, and for that I thank them. And I would happily give them money periodically in exchange for a reasonable amount of their product. And I hope we can keep on doing that, whether or not a real orange has ever seen the inside of one of their factories, even on a school trip. Chemically accurate orange juice, exactly. Alright. This is the only part where you have to start like paying attention, right? All the other times you could just die at any moment, but now we can die slightly later. Yep, well, you know. One more time with feeling. 3,000 12 packs. Well, that would do me for a little while. So in high school, you couldn't buy Mountain Dew there either. Like, I don't know if they have. You know, it's been some years since I've been. I don't know. I work with people in high school, but I don't ask them, hey, can you buy Coca-Cola from machines on campus anymore? I don't. It's more like, did you learn anything at school? No, you didn't go. Cool. No, that's not fair. But you couldn't get Mountain Dew. And whenever I got a job at the library, you know, and I just was just like rolling in cash whenever I was 15, right? I would bring like 12 packs of Mountain Dew, and then I would distribute them to, you know, my friends and favored classmates. And that would be our way of lording it over other people, you know, like, you can't even get this here, you know. But I wasn't selling it, so it wasn't contraband. That's a very important distinction. You're allowed to give people Mountain Dew. Even foreign Mountain Dew. From outside the perimeter. Why do I have it as Geometry Sundash? Because it's Sunday. It's the Sunday edition. We're trying to play some Geometry Dash every Sunday. And I like dumb titles. I didn't think anybody would get confused. But if we were doing it, you know, if we play on Monday, it could be Mundash, Tuesdash. You know the rest. Yeah, I think we'll try, you know, to do it. I'm bad at scheduling things, but, you know, like, I know people like Geometry Dash a bunch, and, like, you know, playing customs and stuff is cool. I enjoy it, so I figured we could try it out for a bit. You know, I'm sure it will be very well received by the community at large. It's really a matter of whether or not I want to play it every week, but, you know, we'll try to stay positive about that. I think there was just a time whenever I was playing it slightly more per week than would be ideal for me, but I think a couple hours a week is okay. My hand was getting not great there for a bit. Still sometimes feels a little not perfect, but... Say work was crazy today. Yeah. Yeah, as a restaurant worker, I totally know. Yeah, that's why, like, on Sunday, it's a short day for me. I work in the morning, and then if everything goes according to plan, you know, I get off in the afternoon, because the Sunday morning crowd is more voluminous than the Sunday night crowd most of the time. Because we're like a sit-down joint and all. Yeah, just don't hit the orb. That's good. That'll work. Just look at the screen and don't hit the orb. Good. Great. Ridiculous behavior. say you should coach me for this game. It would only frustrate you, I'm afraid. Because all the things you need to do to be a better player are things I'm not willing to do. Like, you know, pay attention. And where have I heard that one before? No, it's not fair. You guys are nice to me. I know you don't mean it in a critical way. Ah. But like, why are we even doing this, right? We should be practicing that one section that we can't do, right? Like, it's like, why am I trying to get to the end when we know perfectly well that I can't get past 67? It's like, I just hope, like, well, if we don't do practice mode, maybe we'll just do all of it, you know, maybe we'll just do a whole run. My real nightmare is that one day I'll do that, that I'll be in practice mode and die at, like, 6%, and then I'll, like, run through the whole run. Obviously, it's not gonna happen here. The Tempest, ah, yes, yeah. Let's try that one again. So, this game has a habit. People will make indicator arrows, and they make me think they'll kill me. They mean jump right here, and then I jump in front of them, and then die. It's like if you saw a stop sign, so you stop as soon as you see it. That wouldn't be good, but that's how I behave. And sometimes I don't do it, but that's because I don't notice it in time. Oh, they pull it back. Very clever. And then the awesome train segment. It's so good. It's so much better than any train I would make would be. I'd love to make a train level, though. It would be like Red Dead inspired, and there would be optional routes to steal, like, additional things out of, like, safes. And there would be, like, easier routes that didn't involve, like, going up and down in order to to get it. And it would have a nice little old-timey lo-fi sound, you know. Or it wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know about the music. Anyway, that's what I would do. Red Dead Redemption 2 and this. How are we still alive? I'm just hitting the button sometimes. I don't know what's happening. Ha ha ha. But there, a lot of that, if you hit in time with the melody, then it works out pretty well. Not here. Oh, I have a sword now, so I don't need to dodge them. We run right into their face, but not into the ground. Important information. Hiya! Why is Vaporeon Maddie? I don't know. They're always the one I pick. No, I Jolteon sometimes. Flareon, look, I'm a Charmander guy by general preference, you know. He's on the color of red, the cover of red. And I just always, you know, non-controversial, but I've always felt like there's so many fire Pokemon you have access to. Even in Gen 1, even in red, where you don't have, like, Rapidash and stuff, and Ponyta, like, there's still plenty of access to fire Pokemon. Not like there's a dearth of water ones, but yeah, Jolteon was fine. But I mean, as a 12-year-old, I was always running with a Pikachu anyway. I was just a regular kid playing Pokemon, you know, back in 1998. Back in my day. Oh, there's, there's some path up there, probably for like a coin or something. Alright, halfway. Right into the wall. Probably the easiest jump in the whole level. Well. At least the song's real good. And if you get far enough, it barely feels like it was to the same one again, you know? It's not like dying at the same part over and over. Oh, right, the big worm thing it devours. I did it again. The difficulty of this, 7? 7. Terrible. Right. I don't know, dude. I don't know what I died to. There was the pillar thing, and I was dead in it. I thought we were fine there. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe the thing was leaving the screen from that angle and I ran into it as it was going. I don't know. That worm just coming up like we're in The Empire Strikes Back. Like, oh, that's a nice Sir Green Blockington there. Shame if something were to happen to him. Chomp. Poor little guy. Of all the people that he could have been around, it's me. I mean, you know, I guess the ceiling there had some little crab claws that got me. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a bit. Let's fail at Clubstep again. You know, that's what the title is. After all, surely the 10,580th time will be different. Not gonna catch me, copyright. Yeah, that was a very cool level. I wish we'd beat it so we could have, like, the nice feeling of beating it, but... It's nice to have a level I can listen to the music with. Without having to worry about getting a notification on my account. The worst kind of thing. Because you're like, oh... Is somebody praising me? Did somebody say the wheat field is cool, or I liked this, or is someone like saying you're bald, and you're like, no, you have been the notice of a copyright thing, and I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, someone says they own the sound of water in Minecraft, and I'm like, why don't you call their lawyer? I don't think they do. Somebody owns the sound of water in Minecraft, but it's allowed for everybody to use it, you know. Because, like, almost all the time it's like, oh, someone's watching or someone's subscribed or whatever, you know, and I'm always like, yeah, you know, the good feelings you get for putting videos on the internet normally you get with your YouTube notifications when you make videos, you know, because I'm such a minor person that, like, no one's, like, mean to me or whatever. Like, it's almost always good news, you know? When people unsubscribe, they've never left, like, a long message about it. They just leave, right? And so it's not like I know about it. But sometimes YouTube will be like, here's a notification. I'm like, oh, no. And they're like, we are mad at you. And I'm like, oh, no. And they're like, you have to verify your identity or we won't take money anymore. And I'm like, well, okay, I don't care. I mean, I am who I say I am. They know who I am. I'm just not filling out the form. It's not important. We don't have to talk about it. Terrible. Well, just straight dying over and over. We are never, ever, ever gonna beat this level, ever. Later, Thomas. Thank you for your good luck wishes. We're not going to keep this stream going too much longer, but I'll be playing something else later on today. Perhaps see you there, and if not then some other time, perhaps. We might play Hollow Knight later. We might play Path of Exile too. I might take a nap. You know, I'm drinking this energy drink, but there's actually nothing better in the world than, like, drinking a bunch of coffee or having an energy drink and then saying, you know what, I'm going to lay down and take a nap. I'm going to say to all that caffeine, you can't affect me. I'm just going to take a nice restful nap. And I don't know enough about biology to know if that's smart or not. I don't care. It's fun. Oh. Okay. Well, well, well. It's not going so good. It's fine. I mean, what was I expecting? We had not at all fruitful practice where we bashed our head against as far as we can get over and over without any market improvement. Hey, at least we had a good time playing Timbus, though. And there were some cool custom things. That platformer level with the apples. Not the sound of the apples, but the rest of it was very fun. And so, you know, that was good. So you think it's mainly mind space? Yeah, I mean, probably. There's like a couple like cruxes to it, right? A couple like really harder than other parts, and you know, you get the one at 67 to me, and then the one at like 84. I just don't see the level falling to me anytime soon. No matter how good I get at the first 50%, you know, if it's 20 or 30 or 40 attempts to get from 60 to 80, and then of those I can convert every 20 or 30 or 40 attempts, I guess then we would only have to play like many hundreds if we got to that point. If we can perfectly do the first 2/3, then it'll just be a few hundred more attempts, no matter what. We'll be able to fake it through. Yeah. Later, Orange Froggy. Thanks for stopping in. You have a good one. Like I said, I don't think we're going to play for too much longer. We're coming in here at right about 2 hours, which is a good length for a Sundash stream. Thanks for the support and the low-level recommendations. Some cool stuff. Sorry, the Apple sounds were too Apple-y, so we couldn't listen to the rest. They were really just very, very Apple-y, though. Whoops, accidentally took the coin route. Terrible. Yeah. Anyway, last one? Yeah, pretty close to the last one anyway. I had a good time for a bit. I'm not really feeling it now. I don't think we're going to make any progress today. And you only damage your own prospects by playing through a non-fruitful Geometry Dash session, especially for me, because I'm a very brittle person, right? I can't try to push through, I'll just break. After all, if 10,600 attempts weren't going to do it, the 10,601st attempt probably won't do it either. But we'll come back next week for more Geometry Sundash. So, final run. Let's see how we do. Alright, we died. 10,622 attempts, 67%, still the best. We can probably just play Clubstep for the rest of our lives, but not for the rest of the day. I'm going to take a little break. I'll either be on here in 30 minutes to play something, or in a couple of hours in the event that I take a nap, which I just might do. It's sounding fun. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Later, Coolio. Bye, Thomas. Bye, Orange Froggy. Bye, Mind Showtime. Bye, Sir Meta Knights. Bye, 150. Bye, Violet. Bye, Unlucky Dasha. I appreciate every one of you hanging out, and perhaps I'll see you in a later stream or video. Later.